Do you think we're living in a simulation?
I do, actually. Well, I mean, who knows, dude?
Everything feels so scripted, right?
Yeah, it's not necessarily scripted. I think that have you ever used VR headsets?
Yeah, I've used Oculus.
Okay, so the first time that I put on a VR headset is when I started very seriously considering simulation theory, just because it's like, if you can have all of your senses fully immersed right now by putting some device, so you're essentially just putting a television over your head.
Yeah.
And you think about where things are going currently, where you got Neuralink. You already know they're trying to put the computer inside of your brain. You have super intelligence over here. You have AI that's going to basically be able to build anything digital at a speed that is unfathomable to us now. You know, you have thousands of people working on these systems, and it takes them years to build them. They'll be able to build it in like 6 minutes, like not even in that near or that distant future.
Yeah.
And a lot of people are terrified about where AI is going to go and whether or not the AI is going to turn on us and kill us. My opinion, honestly, is I think that's humans projecting humanity onto the AI. Because humans are like, well, what if they hurt us and then we go bomb them? Like, which seems psychopathic when you really think about it. So if AI is not that, and AI does work symbiotically with humanity, what I believe about where VR comes into this is like, the thing about virtual reality is that you're inside the virtual reality. And it's like, at a certain point, we're gonna be like, well, what if you could be in there and you didn't know? Because the next thing to solve for is like the touch. Right now you have sound and vision. Then they'll solve for touch. And then it's going to be like, well, what if you could not realize you're in a simulation or a virtual reality thing? And then also, life is very short. 80, or I think the average lifespan is like 75 years for men in the United States. That's crazy short. Well, what if you could also condense time? So you can go into a simulation where you can experience 80 years in what is actually an hour.
Whoa.
And at that point, you don't need to 3D print new organs for people. You don't need to maintain people's organs forever. You just need to have them, just hook them up, and you can live forever.
That'd be nuts.
Live forever,
Holy crap.
And my theory on that also has to do with like, so the near-death experience thing.
Yeah.
Where people not all, but many people report a tunnel, and then their loved ones, a younger version of their young ones, and they're like, hey, it's not your time. So my hypothesis on what that could be is a program to ease you out of the experience that you've been in for 75 to 80 years. Because imagine how jarring it would be if you just lived 80 years and on the other side, you're this other person, and you come out and it's just like, like a way that they ease you out, but then those people end up back alive, so they don't go through the entire process. I mean, who knows about what the nature of reality is, but if I had to bet on it, that's kind of where my brain goes. Because think about it like VR, AI, and all of that in 1,000 years. You think they won't be able to do that?
Can't even comprehend that.
Exactly.
It's advancing so fast. I don't even think it'll take 1,000.
Oh, I don't either. I just say at 1,000, it's like, of course we'll be able to do all that stuff.
Yeah. Would you ever get a Neuralink?
Oof. It depends. I'll let someone else get it first.
Yeah, facts. Sure.
I'll let someone else get it first and then tell me, someone I trust, and then be like, okay, what's it like? And if they're like, oh my God, it's
well, the guy that's paralyzed that has it seems like he's loving it. Have you seen that?
No, tell me about it. So there are people who have them in, and I haven't actually looked at it. Tell me about it.
So one guy's in a wheelchair, but he has it, and he can use his thoughts to play chess, play like video games. It's nuts, dude.
Man, that is wild.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like, he can't move his arms, but he can use his thoughts to like actually play games and everything. There's videos of him playing chess, I believe.
See, that's exactly what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
You combine those technologies in a not so distant future. Maybe you put them in a simulation and they don't realize it. Mm-hmm. And then there was a movie about condensing time like that that I watched. It was like this. It was kind of like a low budget science fiction movie, but it was where so that you can be put in prison and not actually lose your life, right? So it's like you get a 10-year sentence, and they would drop this stuff in your eye, and they would do 10 years in prison when actually what was like 30 seconds.
Whoa.
So it was like the punishment, and inside of the experience, they were just in this box that had a clock, and they just sat there in this box looking and just waiting
Holy
for
crap.
10 minutes. And also, have you seen the Black Mirror episode, White Christmas?
Which one was that?
It's the one where they're inside a simulation and the guy is he's trying to extract information from this guy of where he buried these bodies or whatever, but like he's telling his story, and they create a digital clone of a person's brain and they put them inside of this device, and the device is supposed to like make everything much easier for the real person. So the real person has no idea that there is another clone version of themselves inside of this thing being forced into slavery, and they have to like work all these gears to like set up their appointments and do all of this stuff. But the way that he gets the clone mind to do it is he can just press this button and make them experience an astronomical amount of time by themselves in that room. So they're like, are you sure you're not going to do it? They're like, no, all right, let's see how you feel about it in 3 weeks. And then so the person just sits there in this white room for 3 weeks. And then when he comes back, then he makes it 6 months. And then it's like, boom. And then he gives them 1,000 years. And they've just, they just lose their mind. It's like
crazy, right?
Yeah.
Holy crap. That's trippy, bro.
Yeah.
So if you believe in simulation theory, would that rule out believing in aliens for you?
No, not at all. The alien thing, I just have no idea. The cases that are credible to me are so credible that I don't know what to do, that I don't know what they are. Do you know about the Phoenix Lights?
No.
So in March of 1997, I believe there was a comet that was going over Phoenix that night. And so everybody was outside looking up at the stars. And starting like soon as it was kind of like dark or whatever, they're over the Scottsdale and Phoenix Basin, this craft that was a mile wide, according to everybody. They're like, you can't fathom how big this thing was. It was like a triangle, flew over it, dead silent. The biggest thing they've ever seen. It was flying super slow, like too slow to be propelled by, fuel or anything. Every single person, there was 10,000 witnesses. Every single one of them, without fail, said it's impossible that humans built this thing, including Fife Symington, who was the governor and was also in the Air Force. And he's like, humans didn't build this, whatever this thing was. It's like the most credible,
10,000 is no joke.
10,000.
Because I get skeptical when it's like 1 or 2 people.
Exactly.
10,000 is nuts.
Yep. And the military ones are also good if it doesn't seem to be an obvious like psyop, So like there's one in the Rendlesham Forest that happened in the 80s, and it was at one of our nuclear weapon sites. And there's so many reports of UFO interaction with our nuclear weapon sites.
I heard that.
And this one in particular happened over multiple nights, where they had UFOs hovering over the I guess what you like where they have all the ICBMs. And then there was something in the forest, and these guys went out there kind of to see what was going on. And there was multiple nights, multiple experiences, super credible guys. One of them was a colonel responsible for guarding our nuclear weapons. Like, who's more credible than that? Right. And I've seen him talk about it. I've seen the other guys talk about it. And there were 3 guys who came up on a craft that was on the floor or on the ground, like hovering above the ground. And they walked around it for 45 minutes. They wrote down these like symbols that were on it. And then after 45 minutes, they said that it just went, and then, and like the guy, it's hard for the guy to even talk about it. It wigged him out so much.
Jeez.
But that one, I believe. And then the Travis Walton story is the one, you seen the movie Fire in the Sky? You know what that is?
Heard of it, I think.
It's the one abduction story that I believe, that I
think I heard of this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because the abductions one's hard for me. It could totally be true, but to your point, one person telling you that they got it, it's always hard that it's like, okay, well, this person could be crazy or trying to get attention or whatever. But the Travis Walton story, there were 7 lumberjacks also in Arizona.
Yeah.
And they were leaving their work site for the night, and they drive by and they saw this gigantic flying saucer that was down in the forest. And this dude, Travis Walton, who's crazy, he's 23 years old or something, jumps out of the car, starts sprinting towards this flying saucer. All of his people are like, get back in the car. And they said that like there was like a flash of light, and he went flying across the forest like 100 yards. They said he's dead for sure.
Jeez.
And they took off. Then they spazzed out and kind of all came back. All of them have passed 100 lie detectors on this. They come back and he's gone. So he shows back up in the town like 4 or 5 days later. And what he said had happened was he woke up and he was on board this craft, and they were like, he said there were like creatures that were like working on him. He was on Rogan. I watched him tell this entire story on Rogan, and I'm like, all these guys pass lie detector tests. He seems to be telling the truth. It's I don't know. That's the one abduction story. And if that one's true, the reason they would have taken him on board is they fixed him. Like they would have accidentally hurt him and then taken him on board, fixed him, and then dropped him back off. So like, I don't know what that would indicate. Maybe they're from the future and they're not allowed to interact with us, so they don't, mess up the timelines, or who knows. I have no idea what they are, but I do believe some of those are real, and I don't even know what to make of what it actually is.
7 people passing lie detector tests?
Like a bunch of lie detector tests
Holy crap.
over decades. This happened, he's like, when he was on Rogan, he's like 70 or something. It happened when he was 23. They've lie detected these guys a million times. They've always passed.
I don't see a reason for 7 random lumberjacks to lie about it.
Certainly not for this long.
Yeah, for decades. Right?
Yeah.
Damn, that's crazy.
You should look that one up. Look up the Travis Walton Rogan and watch it, and it's like, it's wild, dude.
I need to see that one for sure. Yeah. I always wondered if they're from just us from the future, or if they're from different planets.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Yeah, because and the other thing that they seem to report consistently is that they can feel that they're communicating with them with their minds.
Telepathy, right?
Yeah, and that's what he reported that as well. That he said that he could feel them trying to calm him down because he freaked out and he like jumped off, and I don't know. I'll let you watch the whole thing, but that would make sense though. I mean, they have these tiny little mouths, these huge eyes, because if they communicate telepathically, why would they need mouths? And if they have a small mouth, that sounds like evolution hasn't taken the mouth all the way. Very likely could have been us in the future. Who knows?
That's nuts.
Wherever you guys are watching this show, I would truly appreciate it if you follow or subscribe. It helps a lot with the algorithm. It helps us get bigger and better guests, and it helps us grow the team. Truly means a lot. Thank you guys for supporting, and here's the episode.